When I tell you people that eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has he entered the heart of man, what the orange man want to do. You people think I'm joking. You people think I'm not serious. You people think I don't know what to do. You people think I don't know. My instinct do not deceive me. I said it. I said, this man, this is just a tip of an iceberg because more is still coming. I posted this exact thing on my post, on my community post here, and I just did not do so much about it because I was like, okay, let me just relax and see how it's going to play out. And honestly, the way it is playing out right now, it is not only going to start, it is not only going to be farmers now crying for losing their farms, or illegal immigrants are now crying that they are being deported, but right now it is now affecting doctors, nurses, technologists, and so on and so forth. It's quite crazy, right? But if I said I didn't see all of this thing coming, I'm lying. I will still say it in this video so that you pen it down that this is just a tip of an iceberg. Before this man will leave office, this man will literally make sure that any single act that will bring progress before he leaves, he will drag it. Because you see that thing, they write like "Make America Great Again." That is not the real vision. The real vision is what is playing out right now. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section after watching this video. Welcome back again to the channel. My name is Sonia. If this is the first time you're tuning in, subscribe, like this video, drop in your comment, and lastly, do not forget to share. This is just for educational purposes, not to bash anyone. Feel free to correct me in the comment section. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Let's see what our father have for us, and I'll be back with commentaries.
This H-1B executive order is going to expose America's mediocrity problem. You will soon realize that America's greatest export is the fruits of the labor provided by the people they import. Silicon Valley runs this world, and they couldn't have done it without H-1Bs. Your phone, the internet, almost every fucking app you use was built by an H-1B. America's big tech companies and oligarchs are not moved by this, and slowly you all are going to realize that they don't give a shit about America. Because by disincentivizing H-1Bs, you're just giving them more incentive to outsource completely to India or China. Cheap labor is the name of the game. The moment America becomes unprofitable, their interests no longer align. Hypocrisy is also blatant with the introduction of the gold card. These people will scream America first from the rooftops, but suddenly a $5 million payment is enough to become American? Oh right, the only American value they care about is money. As if this country isn't already corrupted by rich elites, let's bring in some more from different countries. Because fuck assimilation. Money is our culture. Believe it or not, we don't have a plethora of domestic talent. Our education system is mid, but of course there's no talks to reform that. But instead, they target some of the most productive members in American society. Disincentivizing H-1B recruitment in favor of US citizens is like Kim Jong-un in North Korea hosting his own Olympics, but forgetting to invite the rest of the world on purpose, just to increase team morale. Participation trophy. It's myopic. It doesn't solve anything. Why is America behind? Why is America average? You're not making America great. You're at a critical time exposing us as mediocre. You are stifling innovation in the tech sector during the AI arms race. And you will soon see that big tech corporations really don't give a shit about what the president says. Because if Mark Zuckerberg became president, he would lose a significant amount of power. Wrap your mind around that.
Now I got to take a minute to explain the United States to the United States, because y'all been getting lied to and you don't even know it. So y'all been screaming they took our jobs, they took our jobs. Yes, Mohammed the brain surgeon took your job. So back in the 1960s, the United States came to my parents, my family's island in the Caribbean, begging for nurses and doctors to come to the United States. That's why we ended up here. Interesting. Because there was a massive shortage of medical workers here in this country. So my family, they decided to come. Some of my aunts actually moved further north because the same problem happened in Canada. They didn't have enough people trained enough to be doctors. Because the United States, people don't go to med school because people don't really go to college here. Y'all just don't. So now they messing with the H-1B visas. Even though they've been running around begging other countries to send medical workers here and people complied, they came and helped out, y'all gonna make H-1B visas $100,000 a year. And these aren't just nurses or regulars. These are also specialists, like top of their field, only people that can do their surgery in 3 states over and all that craziness. So y'all just really do want to fall into a category like a third world nation that just doesn't have medical workers to help you and doesn't have medical health insurance or anything to help you. Like, I don't know where y'all think this is going to lead to greatness, but y'all literally are going to send this place down into a fiery ball of crazy. And I'm going to have to pack a bag just in case.
I don't like 47. I didn't vote for him. But I think the H-1B visa thing is actually a good move. And in fact, I actually think the H-1B visa should probably be eliminated altogether. And I'm going to explain why. And I think this is one of those things where we need to have a more nuanced conversation when it comes to immigration in this country, because there are things that Democrats don't want to touch because it's so averse to what a lot of people on the left feel. Because I think a lot of people on the left are not really considering the consequences of a lot of the policies that are implemented, and also falling victim to the propaganda around it. So the thing with H-1B visas is that it's supposed to fill a need where Americans don't have the skills to do the job, right? Americans are supposed to get first dibs on jobs in America, and if an American can't fill the role, then they're going to give it to an H-1B, right? To an H-1B visa. Here's the thing. A lot of the messaging we've received about Americans not being qualified for these jobs, it's a lie. If you do the research, you will find that we have more than enough people who are qualified to do these tech jobs, nursing jobs, all these different jobs that H-1B visas are taking. There are plenty of Americans that can do these jobs. And the thing is, really, like, think further, think about the big picture. Americans are in an insane amount of debt from going to universities in this country. A lot of people come from their countries to get university educations here because they'll do better when they go back to their country. Okay, people come here to train for sports because they'll do better in sports when they join the teams in their countries. So if there's so many universities here that people from all over the world are coming to so that they can receive the education they need to do better in their country. And in fact, there's a problem with a lot of countries sending people here and having them spy and steal information and research from American universities, which they then use in their countries. Did you see how many countries when the government started defunding all of these different research projects, did you see how many countries jumped at hiring all these American researchers? Why?
Instead of people, because I don't know if y'all remember what she said in the very beginning of this video, but I'm going to remind you. The very first thing that she led with when she started this conversation was, I don't like Trump, or I didn't vote for 40. She didn't even acknowledge his name. Like, she didn't even say Trump. She didn't say the president. She didn't say none of that. I didn't vote for 47. Called them a number, but then went on to talk about, and is going to, I'm assuming, go ahead and talk about all of the things that he's actually doing that she agrees with. I don't know why people just don't say that Trump was right. Like the hat, I need to go and get the hat that says Trump was right. A lot of times what is happening is they are subsidizing these companies by hiring people outside, and I've seen it myself personally, and they not hiring American workers. But now that Trump is putting American workers first, everybody is protesting and acting like he not right. He right. He right. He been right. I've seen it myself, man, because, I've worked in information technology from the perspective of hiring, firing, user experience, director level. And I've seen there be an agenda when it comes to outsourcing, even if we don't need to outsource. And I'll even go a step further. A lot of the work that these people do that's not from here that we're outsourcing, they are substandard. They are substandard. And these companies invest tons of money. And when I say
Tech companies scrambled today to get their foreign workers back to the U.S. after President Trump announced a drastic hike in visa fees. It applies to the H-1B visa for high-skilled jobs, which previously cost $215. The president's proclamation requires a $100,000 fee. Microsoft, JP Morgan, and Amazon all told their employees on those visas not to leave the country, and if they're currently overseas, to get back by midnight tonight. That's according to internal emails reviewed by Reuters. India and China account for the highest number of H-1B visa applications, and in India, some saw a silver lining to the move.
It's a big hit for the tech talent, but also on the other side, I think it will be good for India because it could be a reverse brain drain in the where people can work here.
The Trump administration argues companies use H-1B visas to hire foreign-born workers for cheaper wages.
The healthcare system is cooked, so the proclamation that was just signed now requiring companies to pay $100,000 for people on HB1 visas, basically to prioritize Americans to get the jobs. So now everybody's thinking about tech. They're just going to outsource it and da-da. Nobody is thinking about healthcare. Do you guys not understand how many people in healthcare currently are under an HB1 visa? And if these companies do away with them, we don't have enough people to fill those vacancies at this time. So what are we going to do? Nobody's going to be able to see a provider. Nobody's going to be able to seek treatment because we're already flooded. We already don't have enough with what we have. So if the people with the HB1 visas can no longer work, it's going to get spooky.
All right, so I actually thought about this a lot. The reason why the federal government and a lot of big tech firms are, at least I believe, are counting on H-1B visas for some of their highly skilled engineering labor is because a H-1B visa is dependent on deployment and can also be revoked if you ever do lose employment. So one of the reasons why a lot of engineers, software in particular, are getting such high salaries right now is because a lot of these companies are not planning on needing you in another year or two. So one of the ways the federal government, I think, is planning on averting a massive unemployment crisis when some of the high-skilled labor in the engineering field are no longer needed is when they are no longer needed, instead of having to deal with a couple million American citizens who now need employment, they can just send back all of the H-1Bs. That's my theory, at least.
This whole H-1B visa thing is exactly why I think this regime is going to fail. And let me tell you why. I'm not saying things aren't bad, and I'm not saying you shouldn't worry, but I am telling you this. Every single authoritarian regime throughout time has succeeded because it has used the centralization of power. Usually that centralization of power is within one single leader, and that single leader has a very clear, organized, and precise goal in mind. And right now, there are 4 major factions that are battling for control of this country. Number 1, the Orange Clown. The Orange Clown is an authoritarian. Does he know what that is? No. But does he know what he wants? Yes. He wants full, unchecked power to do 2 things. He wants to get revenge on his enemies and to enrich himself. That's it. End of story. Next, we have the Heritage Foundation that controls the evangelical base, and their goal is very clear, very obvious. They want a Christo-fascist nation. Next, we have the tech bros, notably Peter Thiel and Elon, who very famously and very proudly purchased this past contest for the Orange Clown, and Peter Thiel, who purchased and installed Couchboy to implement his vision for the future. His vision of the future is, of course, complete government deregulation and the dismantling of democracy to replace it with a techno-oligarchy. And last, we have potentially the most dangerous of all, Mr. Miller himself, Pee Wee German. And he is not dangerous because he's particularly intelligent, obviously. He is dangerous because he is effectively running the country right now. This is not opinion, this is fact, verified through multiple sources coming out of this regime. Pee Wee German is running this country. Pee Wee German writes up executive orders, puts them in front of the Orange Clown, and then tells the Orange Clown to go have fun building his big, beautiful ballroom. This is why this H-1B visa thing is such a perfect example of why this regime is not sustainable, why it will only continue to attack itself. It does not coordinate, it does not communicate, it does not work together. Pee Wee German wrote that executive order because he hates brown people. That's it, end of story, that's all it ever is for him. He puts it in front of the Orange Clown. The Orange Clown does not know what H-1B visas are. He signs it because Pee Wee German told him to, and also because he sees everything through the lens of a mob boss, right? He gets excited at the idea that maybe, these big tech companies are going to panic and they're going to want to keep these visas, and so they are going to bribe the Orange Clown. Very exciting. He will get richer. That's what he wants. Now, the tech bros are going to absolutely flip out about these visas because not only are they incredibly important to their companies, a lot of them are here because of those visas. Like Elon. If you remember back in December, he got into a huge Twitter war with MAGA about these visas, saying that he will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot comprehend. Quote. Now, the Heritage Foundation seems actually pretty neutral about this issue. They don't really care one way or another. Yes, they want to limit immigration, but also I looked into them and they have used these visas in the past for their own organization, so we're going to leave them out of this battle this one time. So basically what is going to happen is these three factions are just going to try and battle it out, right? So we got Pee Wee German, who's trying to flex his power over the Orange Clown and also over the Tech Bros. I do believe that he has a vendetta against the Tech Bros, specifically Elon, mostly because of his wife. Look into that. And we have the Tech Bros who are going to fight back with threats of withholding their immense wealth. And then we have the Orange Clown, who is going to sit there peeing in his diaper, wondering if maybe Mark Zuckerberg is going to give him a cool gold trophy, just like Tim Apple did. And if we pull back and look at the big picture, this executive order is absolutely illegal, unenforceable, and will be struck down by courts immediately because everybody who works in this administration is an incompetent buffoon. In the meantime, we have panic and chaos while these poor visa holders' lives hang in the balance, not knowing if they can stay or if they can go, while the regime is coming out already contradicting half of what was in the executive order. And rinse and repeat until they completely lose power, whether it be in the midterms or worst case scenario in 4 years. Because this regime does not know how to legislate. They do not know how to implement. All they know how to do is break things. And that is not how you create a successful authoritarian regime. I mean, seriously, at this point, I could do a better job.
I'm so mad and frustrated right now because me and my wife, we were planning to go to Korea tomorrow for my sister's wedding. However, Trump just signed a bill for H-1B visa holders. So H-1B visa is basically a working visa for foreigners to work in US. And employers normally sponsor those visas. And the bill basically was now employers have to pay $100,000 per person per year, which basically means do not hire foreign workers outside of US. For my case, my petition already approved and everything, so that all I needed to do was go to Korea and go to US Embassy, get the interview for the visa, and then get the visa stamp, and then come back to US. That was my plan. However, now that this bill is just going to be effective tomorrow, everything is uncertain. Like, I don't even know how long it will take for them to give me a visa stamp, and I don't even know if they're just going to give me a visa stamp. And I don't even know, even if I get a visa stamp, when I come to US, they might ask, did your employer pay that? Answer is no. And will my employer pay for me that amount of money? No. So we've decided not to go. We were so excited until we heard this news, and I haven't even talked to my mom. I don't even know what to tell her. She was so excited to see us, especially since my wife is pregnant. I don't even know when I'm gonna be able to leave this country. I'm just sending out this for awareness to people like myself. If you're currently in US with the H-1B visa working as a foreigner, do not leave this country. Otherwise, you might not be able to come back.
Hi, I'm an immigration attorney, and I went through President Trump's executive order on restriction of entry of non-immigrant workers this weekend, so you didn't have to. The abuse of the H-1B program was marked as a national security threat, where domestic law enforcement agencies had identified that H-1B reliant businesses and companies were engaging in visa fraud and conspiracy to launder money, conspiracy under racketeering. Abuses of the H-1B program was marked as a national security threat because it discourages Americans to pursue careers in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. H-1B visa restrictions are now in effect. As of September 21st, 2025, the executive order imposed strict limits on entry into the United States of certain H-1B visa holders. Under the new policy, employers now have to supplement the H-1B visa with a $100,000 payment to the Department of Homeland Security, and the Department of Homeland Security will deny entry of H-1B visas to those whose employers have not made the required payment. The Department of Labor will now begin updating prevailing wage levels to align with the goals of the executive order. What do you think about the new policy on H-1B visas? Follow for more immigration news and comment below.
Indians working in the US have gotten the biggest shock of their lives, but it may work out to be very well for India, and I'll explain exactly what is happening. So yesterday, President Trump mentioned that any American company hiring foreign workers on H-1B visa will have to pay $100,000 every year to the US government in the form of a fee. Which means every Indian who will be hired by an American company, well, that company in the US will have to pay 88 lakh rupees, not one time, but every single year. Now, this means that practically all the Indians working in the US and are not already US citizens may have to come back, because right now this is a presidential order, and whether it's going to sustain in the US Congress or not, we can't really say. But imagine it does. I'll tell you what will happen. For example, when I speak with the administration at B schools in India like ISB as well as IIMA, the administration is really happy because right now the kind of applicants they're getting to these colleges for the MBA program are absolutely phenomenal, because 35% of the Indians who would apply to the US every year in search for better MBA are now not applying, and all these people are now studying in India. Similarly, now the best of talent from the world is going to come back to India because companies may not want to hire them in the US. And over the next 5 to 7 years, I would predict that a lot of global companies would then begin to bring investments into India, start setting up companies into India. And quite like how China grew over the past 2 decades on the back of their fabulous talent, which built massive tech companies inside of China which are now going global, the same journey may actually happen for India over the next 1 decade, because 71% of the H1B applicants are actually Indians and only 12% are Chinese, which is why, while it is really painful for people who have family members in the US working right now in the short term, in the long term, it may be a fabulous golden opportunity for our country, India. Share it with someone who may need it.
The H-1B visa is one of the most desirable visas in the US for people coming from other countries with special skills. That includes doctors. So the hospitals that hire the most doctors on H-1B visas are actually the hospitals that are the smallest, the most rural, the ones that have the least resources, oftentimes the hospitals that are safety net hospitals to their communities. So now, of course, this $100,000 visa fee is going to prevent people from other countries who are in training to come here and practice medicine. And that's really going to create a wider disparity in those populations and in those remote communities. So it's going to impact those foreign doctors, but it's also going to impact those safety net hospitals that rely on those doctors. And it's going to really hit those residency programs that fill up all of their spots with foreign medical graduates. But of course, I know that if you aren't in the medical space, you probably don't care about those individual stakeholders. But the one that you might care about is that this change will actually impact the patients and the communities that those safety net hospitals care for. We're all going to see wider gaps in care, longer wait times for specialists, overworked primary care physicians. I mean, the whole thing is going to go under. I don't think people really understand how much weight foreign medical graduates shoulder, but they're about to.
A lot of people that are saying this is actually a good move, I think that they really did not understand where this is actually coming from. Because people are already starving. People already are not feeding well. People are already losing their farms. People are already losing a lot of things. Even healthcare. There are some rural areas that at the end of the day, they don't have good medical healthcare centers. Now, the prominent ones especially that are doing the major work, you want to put out, or you've already signed an executive order of how many million again? $10,000? Honestly, sometimes I ask myself this question. Is it that when the orange man wants to make decision, is it like he don't have any advisor that do advise him? They don't have researchers that do some background research, background check. He don't have like personal PA to ask questions. He don't have like lawyers to look into it. He just go ahead and make decisions, go ahead and sign executive orders. And is it how things really worked? Because people that are now literally saving people. So instead of me as an employer now to keep people in your country and be paying you that amount because they are there, because they came with that particular visa, is it not better for me to just let them stay in their country and do what they want to do, or go to any other country? We are not done with tariffs yet. A lot of people, grocery shopping is skyrocketing. They can't even eat beef. They can't even do anything for themselves. We are not done with your farmers that voted for you, that at the end of the day, they can't even farm. They can't even see people to pick up their berries, their tomatoes. We've been seeing clips flying up and down. We are not done with the major problem we are facing. So during the process of even attending the funeral of your son or your friend, as you so call him, it simply means you had other plans ahead already. Like, I don't even understand. Everything is just getting me confused right now, because I don't see anything right with this particular order that he's passing. Like, I literally do not see anything right. I don't know how people are seeing things right from this angle, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm not seeing anything right. And it's paining me to the core that people that are going to suffer this are people that look like me and people that are in the rural area, because at the end of the day, if they cannot be able to maintain their doctors there, they have to send them going back to that. I saw a particular video that immediately after the announcement, instead of the plane to take off, they have to tell the plane to wait so that some people that they are supposed to come with that visa can actually go down out of that plane. Is this really the Make America Great Again that we plan for? Is this really how great we are going to make American? I have another feeling that this man is doing this thing because he wants the next person that is coming to actually suffer, because you guys know that he cannot run for another position again. He cannot. So before he goes out of the position, he just want to make sure that he utilize this period. And anyways, who am I? I know nothing. I stand the chance to be corrected. Correct me in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this particular thing. Do you think it is the right decision or not? I really want to get your honest opinion in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And yes, with no further ado, I'm going to be Simba, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. Do not touch the die. I love you guys. Mwah.